I started with absolutely nothing on the islands. All I had at the very beginning was a fishing rod and one immense goal to make $100 million. I was fishing, pulling old tires and buckets out of the water, just to get things moving and not get stuck on this island. So far, I've managed to save up 111,814 euros in my account. To some that might be a fortune, but for me, it's just rocket fuel for what I'm about to launch. White gold is covering my 2 islands. Dozens of fermented silage bales are lying there. This is the result of my diligent efforts over the last few days. They're all prepared now, but as we know, bales just sitting in the field don't generate profit, so I'm gathering them to quickly free up cash for new investments. 27,000 euros. That's how much I got for this shipment. My account is at 138,000, yet it's just a warm-up. I've returned to the island and I'm loading another shipment. Every single second of delay sets back my plan, and I truly need to be efficient to the core. So, let's sell the next load, and 26,000 euros just hit my account. I loaded the 3 remaining bales from the island, transported them across the river, and sold them. 5,700 euros. That's what I got for those 3 bales. My account balance is currently at 170,000 euros. However, that's going to change very quickly, because I'm heading out with yet another shipment, and I'm selling it for a total of 26,000 euros. Just look at how rapidly my account balance is soaring. I'm collecting the very last bales remaining on the island now, so I can turn my white gold into cash without a moment's delay. Thanks to this sale, I've definitely surpassed 200,000 in my account, and I can confidently state that's a new personal best. However, in order to achieve my goal, I am going to need the appropriate equipment. I visited the store and chose to purchase a baler for 80,000 euros. This new machine will effectively substitute both my current wrapper and the previous baler, as it's capable of simultaneously forming bales and wrapping them in film to produce silage, all in one go. Through the sale of my old wrapper and baler, I successfully recovered a substantial 20,000 euros. Since we're doing a full cleanup, I might as well get rid of my starter kit too. It's for a symbolic amount, only $629 in total, but for me, it marks the closure of one chapter and the beginning of another, stepping up to a higher level. And to reach that next level, I really do need a brand new tractor, 34,500. That's how much it cost me, and to complete the set, I decided to purchase a brand new mower. And it was a 7-meter mower for 40,000 euros. I bought a new one, so this isn't needed, selling it for 3,126 euros. After all the buying and selling of unneeded equipment, I have 97,385 euros remaining in my account, and my brand new gear is now waiting at the shop, ready for pickup and its very first startup. So, to avoid wasting any time, I'm going to quickly hook up this mower and head straight over to the island. There, I'll hire a new worker, and we'll see just how well he manages with this brand new equipment. The working width of this mower is actually more than double that of the previous one. Because of that, I'm really looking forward to a significant boost in efficiency, and speaking of growth, I sincerely hope you've already hit that subscribe button for my channel. And if you'd like to play on this map, using the mods that I'm currently using, I truly encourage you to visit my Patreon page. You'll find everything there. Currently, there's a 25% off promotion. It's definitely worth checking out. Only a moment has passed, and the worker has already finished mowing the first island. There's more grass to mow on the next island, so I'm going there quickly. I'm going to hire a worker, observe him for a while to see how he performs, and then I'll move on to the next crucial task, which is raking the grass. I'm hooking the rake to my 300 HP beast, which you know well. I delegate the task to an employee, and I'll handle the logistics myself. Time is money, and I have millions to earn. Without my employees, it would have taken me a great deal longer to get to this point. Luckily in this challenge, I can use the help of workers. Here's how the work progress looks. Everything is going according to plan. The rows are taking shape and the grass is being mowed. Everything is perfectly in order. As for me, the time has come to fell the remaining trees that still stand on this island. Every single tree you see here for me represents living cash, so I'm going to grab my axe. You heard me correctly, I am still using manual tools, but just look at the incredible efficiency I'm achieving. When I consider the significant earnings I'll acquire from selling this timber, I don't feel any fatigue at all while swinging this axe. I'm felling tree after tree and I could certainly keep doing this endlessly. I successfully cut down every single tree growing on my island. While I was busy swinging my trusty axe, the workers were diligently mowing the grass and creating precise rows. The tasks are already nearing their full completion. I'm starting the express transport of the wood to the collection point. Quite a bit has piled up. I'll transport it and cut it into smaller pieces to maximize the profits from the sale. The moment of truth has finally arrived. This truly is my biggest single wood sale throughout this entire challenge. 60,000 plus 3,000. So that's a total of 63,000 euros earned from this entire shipment. All the grass on the island has been carefully raked into neat rows, allowing me to confidently dispatch a worker to create bales and swiftly wrap everything up at an express pace. I have to make rows on the second island, so I'm immediately hiring an additional worker to handle that task. There's really no time to delay. The grass has been mowed, so it's high time. I've mentioned it many times before, but I truly adore observing this fascinating bird's eye view, especially as everything advances at such a rapid pace. Alright, that's enough of this peeking around. I'm investing 150,000 into 10 windmills, each costing 15,000 euros. Each one generates 4,200 euros in profit per month, plus 4 small generators making 360 euros a month. Meanwhile, as I was pouring in more than 160,000 euros, the worker successfully finished baling. And on the second island where the rows are being made, the work is also nearing completion. In a moment, I'll be able to send a worker over there to start baling on that island too. However, before I dive into that, I absolutely need to meticulously clean up the shop island. I'm going to remove all the tree stumps that remained after the logging, ensuring the entire area is thoroughly cleared for any future developments or construction work. Well, no sooner said than done. All the stumps have been removed, and now I'm rushing to the tractor to transport the baler over to the other island. Of course, for this task, I will also employ a worker to ensure I utilize my time as effectively and efficiently as possible. Here's how the work is progressing from a bird's eye view. The grass raking has concluded, and the bales are being produced at an exceptionally fast pace. Regrettably, one of the bales became lodged right in front of my worker, preventing him from continuing his work. That's why I swam all the way over there, to move that bale out of the way to get rid of that problem, so the worker could continue with his work without any further interruptions. I'm 5,000 short. I have 0 in my account. The worker quit, and now I have to finish these last 2 passes by hand. The work is now complete, meaning I can store the equipment back in the yard. So it's time for a quick rundown on how things are progressing across all of my islands. A few dozen bales were produced here. Every single tree has been chopped down. I've already invested approximately 200,000 into renewable energy, more precisely in wind power plants. Now, all I have to do is watch the money roll into my account as the months go by. I successfully generated a rather substantial passive income of 178,611 euros. However, I'm certainly not going to stop at that point. I have a substantial amount of bales on the islands that need selling, so I'm getting right to that. Getting right to it. One shipment, 26,748 euros. I've already accumulated 205,000 in my account. I'm loading up another shipment and heading out again to exchange it for another 26,000 euros. On the first island, I've still got 4 bales left to collect. I'm gonna load all of them up, sell them, and then I'll immediately move on to collecting from the second island. I received a total of 7,642 euros for those final 4 bales, which were remaining from the first island, and now I am already in the process of loading the subsequent shipment on the second island. Once again, over 26,000 has hit my account. I now have a total of 266,515 euros. But not for long, because I'm already on my way with another shipment. And again, 26,755 euros just hit my account. And that's not all, so I'll definitely pass 300,000 by selling these bales. I'm selling the last shipment of silage, plus 24,853 euros. In total, I have 318,125 euros in my account, so like I said, I passed 300,000 and by a lot. There isn't a single lonely bale left on the islands anymore. Everything has been gathered up. I really had to pause for a moment and figure out what I wanted to do next, what I wanted to spend this 300,000 on, and I finally decided to invest it all into a greenhouse. This greenhouse will form the very foundation of my burgeoning empire. I plan to produce a substantial amount of lettuce and then sell it to generate the largest profits imaginable. With those funds, I will subsequently construct additional wind farms. Of course, I also went ahead and added a few more wind farms now, since I had some leftover funds after investing in the greenhouse. It might not look all that pretty right now, but we'll deal with that later. For the time being, I'm starting all the production lines so that lettuce gets produced, I can earn some money, and then we'll just fast forward time a bit. The months are truly flying by. The account balance is definitely flying too. It's skyrocketing into the cosmos. And as I said, this is just the beginning. After only a few months of my productions and generators running, I successfully managed to generate 505,898 euros. However, reaching 100 million is still quite a distant goal. I utilized the 500,000 euros I had accumulated to fully equip the entire island with generators. This is how it looks. It looks interesting. We'll see if the profits from it are just as interesting. I hope so. Time flies, months pass. The balance is growing tremendously, so we can already say that the profits are quite interesting as well. The profits are interesting and this whole thing looks great. 1,117,333 euros. That's the current state of my account balance, which has enabled me to construct an enormous quantity of greenhouses across the entire island. I actually ran out of space entirely. Nothing more will fit in here. I know it doesn't look particularly beautiful, quite tragic actually, but I'll focus on the aesthetic aspect later. I promise you. More months go by, and my account balance is growing even faster than it was before. Each subsequent investment assists me in achieving even greater profits in increasingly shorter periods. 1,048,518 euros. I decided to invest those funds into 11 solar panels, with each one costing 93,000 euros, and generating 9,000 euros every month, along with a 15,000 euro wind farm. Several more months flew by, and my account once again received over €1 million deposited into it. And so, I made the decision to invest it this time around into wind farms, not specifically different ones that I haven't utilized previously. Much more expensive, 155,000 for a single wind farm. I also needed to build up the land a little bit to facilitate the construction of these power plants. This wasn't a very big expense, so I decided to set up 4 of these. Additionally, there were 6 smaller power generators, each costing 45,000, and collectively they generate 4,800 every month. And as if all of that weren't enough, I also managed to find this rather small generator, costing 24,000 euros, which is now generating over 6,000 euros in monthly profit. Apparently, that's how everything looks from a bird's eye view. There are more and more buildings. We'll see if the profits grow just as much. Several months had elapsed, and my account balance surged by more than 1.5 million euros, which was quite remarkable. That's a pretty nice sum. I decided to invest it in a biogas plant. However, to achieve that, I first needed to level the ground. The cost wasn't substantial, especially when you consider the 1,250,000 for the biogas plant and an additional 60,000 for the fermentation silos. In that context, it truly wasn't a significant expense. I had to slightly reconfigure the surrounding area near the fermentation silos to make it presentable. It's not ideal just yet, but I'll definitely take care of it later. This is how the biogas plant appears. I'll also eventually get around to decorating this area later. But right now, I absolutely must fill the fermenting silos with grass bales, ensuring the biogas plant has the necessary materials for production. The biogas plant I constructed is quite efficient, so I'm stuffing the silos with all the grass I can get. I'll spend the entire 128,000 I have left on grass and deliver it all to the silos. I still need to power up everything, then configure it all to function exactly as it's meant to. And by the way, I realized then that I had made an enormous error. I hadn't noticed this before, but my windmills, those colossal wind turbines, each costing 155,000, they weren't producing anything at all. It was a huge oversight. I hadn't activated them. As you can see, their propellers are now actively rotating. They weren't spinning before, and now, just you wait and see how my account balance is going to start soaring. At long last, the windmills are up and running, and to top it all off, the biogas plant is raking in colossal profits, exactly 2,832,541 euros. I really need to invest all this money, so I'm leveling the ground next to the biogas plant to construct another one right beside it, only bigger, more costly, and totaling 1.5 million. I have an abundance of money, which is why I've decided to spruce up this area a little, just to make it visually appealing and presentable. So I won't have to fix everything later on, I'll just handle it immediately as I'm working. I've placed a few trees around here, some bushes, and it immediately looks much better. This is how it appears from a bird's eye perspective. This is probably my prettiest island so far. The island that has the biogas plants is my prettiest island. Well, because it's the only one that's actually decorated. And since we're already talking about islands, I decided to construct yet another island so that I could place even more greenhouses on it. I devised a method of arranging greenhouses all along that narrow strip of land. They'll be expanding my island because the terrain always expands right along with the greenhouse. Of course, that's only if the option is set, and I did have that option enabled. I also painted the ground, planted various bushes, laid out paths, and generally did everything necessary to make it appear presentable and well maintained. And here's how it looks from above. Of course, it was high time to get everything operational, because it would be a real shame to miss out on the profits from so many greenhouses. So, having finished all that, I still had some money left over. Consequently, I invested 550,000 into this splendid generator, which generates a monthly income of 46,000 euros from harnessing wind power, specifically wind energy. Once I had completed all the construction, I simply needed to bide my time for a few months. This would allow my productions and generators to accrue the maximum possible earnings, which I could then reinvest to further expand my operations. I managed to save up over 3 million euros, 3,076,000. Several months had passed by, so I came to the conclusion that I needed to replenish the fermentation silos. I simply can't leave them empty. There absolutely needs to be grass inside, actively fermenting, to ensure a continuous supply for the biogas plant. However, those biogas plants were incredibly expensive, coming in at almost 3 million euros. And they generate quite substantial profits, so I must keep a close eye on them. After I had topped up the silos, the only thing left for me to do was to spend 3 million on investments. I constructed 3 massive wind power plants, each valued at 900,000 euros, and collectively they bring in 84,000 euros every month. So here's the island, from a bird's eye perspective, and as you can plainly see, this is what the growth of my balance looks like. 5 million, now over 5 million, 6 million. 7 million, exactly 7,400,000. This is how much money I was able to generate within just those few months. With the money I had earned, I invested in 8 new wind farms, each costing 900,000 and generating 84,000 euros, and additionally, I installed a couple of solar panels, 2 to be precise. Here's the bird's eye view. It's starting to look more and more interesting. There are more and more of these wind turbines, and more of everything else too. And an increasing amount of the profits, an even greater portion of the monthly generated profits. Look, a few months have flown by. I've accumulated over 20 million in my account, and yet again, I find myself needing to replenish the grass in the silos to ensure those enormous profits continue flowing in, just as they did before. I won't bore you with too many details here, so I'll quickly top this up. But as you can clearly see, I have over 20 million in my account, and I truly want to maintain these significant profits going forward. I had so much money that I could build 5 wind turbines, each costing 3.5 million euros and generating 350,000 euros monthly. Additionally, I built another one for 900,000, along with a massive photovoltaic solar farm for 1,300,000 euros. I even managed to level some of the terrain, but I just ran out of money to finish it completely. This is how it looks. It's getting really interesting. 100 million is getting closer. 100 million is almost here. Just look at the profits that are pouring into my account right now. Every single month, truly massive sums, millions of them, are flowing into my account. I chose to decorate the island with trees, the very island where the greenhouses are located. Just as I had promised earlier to get to it later, I've actually taken care of it just now. And now, the moment has arrived to decorate the island where I meticulously constructed the photovoltaic farm. It has to look presentable as well. I mean, it's not strictly necessary, but it's something I genuinely care about. I really don't want this to just be about making money by simply fast forwarding through time. Honestly, I could have that 100 million in my account already. I just have to wait a few more months. However, I aim to achieve this in the quickest time possible, maximizing the monthly profit. And of course, in addition to that, I genuinely want it to look presentable, because I really dislike creating unattractive maps. So, this is precisely how everything stands at this very moment. It truly is the opportune time to construct a house right here, and then carefully adorn the surrounding area. Following that, I'll be able to confidently invest all of my remaining funds into even more wind turbines. And to finally reach that highly coveted goal of $100 million, or rather 100 million euros, as that is indeed the currency we are dealing with here in this game. I know I keep mixing it up. Sometimes I say euros, sometimes dollars, but everyone knows what I mean. While it may not be a luxurious villa worth millions, it's certainly sufficient for a peaceful retreat, especially with millions wisely invested and securely sitting in your bank account. And speaking of making smart investments, I absolutely must put that 30 million I have in my account to good use. I need to strategically place a few more windmills, ensuring a continuous and even greater flow of money into my account every single month. Each windmill generates 354,000 euros, and I've constructed around 10 of them in this location. So, I've just added myself an extra 3.5 million in monthly profit. Well, more or less. I'm not sure if it was exactly 10, but you can tell me about it. If you're still watching this, can you tell me if there were exactly 10 or not? And just look at this, folks. This is exactly how you earn $100 million. This is the grand finale of the entire endeavor, the culmination of the whole challenge. $100 million crossed at this very moment. I got so carried away that I actually reached 112 million, meaning I definitely surpassed the target goal I had in mind. I pulled it off, everything unfolded just as planned. Starting from absolutely nothing, $0, no leasing, kicking off with just a fishing rod out on the islands, I successfully reeled in a grand total of 112,169,481 euros. I truly hope I've earned your subscription, a big thumbs up on this video, and a comment that lets me know you stuck around and watched until the very end.